everybody, welcome back. Episode 13, Potato Land. Thanks for joining, thanks for tuning in. That is, if you have, as of now, no views, as far as I know. I realize I haven't checked in a week or so, but no problems there. We'll get to it. We'll round that bend really when we need to. Right now it's all about putting in the hard work. Thank you for checking it out, tuning in, and all that nonsense. I feel like it's a good episode today. We have a few subjects I want to talk about. Not including how many times I say or any background noises you might hear. This is going to be the best one yet. My wardrobe, I'm kind of worried about it. I have in my my bank things to talk about, which I have written down earlier, but I'm reminded I should be definitely discussing right off the bat that 13 episodes in and you don't know what wardrobe choices you're repeating anymore. Unless I'm going through the videos and stuff, which I'm not doing. You just hope that everybody doesn't notice. Everybody who notices, just I wanted to say it and then I didn't want to say it, and now I'm just gonna say it. Go kill yourself. I only have so many shirts, and I don't want to start buying shirts for this shit, you know? Damn it. I really shouldn't be swearing early on. Let's bleep those things out and get right to it. I mean, I thank you guys for establishing a foundation where I feel like I have to clean my room before I get into this. So there's a weekly room cleaning because of the background. I'm gonna change the background eventually. I actually kind of like the background I came up with on a whim, because last episode I had to edit out a specific part for the first time, monumental moment. We're only so many episodes in, so for whatever that may really mean. But I did. I took out probably 12 seconds. I'd love to play those back for you. How about we cue the drama at this point? And I almost want to just stay silent so that you know this is always a one-time take. So I'm just gonna sit here for a few seconds, and maybe I'll do some editing. I don't know. I mean, to bring me back in, maybe I'll just show you the clip full screen. But I said something silly, and let's begin by putting it in the context of how off the rails I was trying to go last episode. I feel like it's important to just say one thing, because you know you kind of want to screw things up every now and again, but you don't want to screw things up this bad. Just to prove to yourself that you, it's like self-harm. It motivates you. The outcome is very motivating. I really don't want to do that, and I feel like we have to be wrapping up soon here. But I didn't mean to go off topic there. I just wanted to basically say that self-harm, huh? I suppose we could dig into the topic a little more, but I didn't necessarily want to slide by without explaining in detail that, you know, I have close personal experiences with other people doing harm to themselves. And not to get all philosophical, but basically you can't just make a silly whimsical comment like such and expect people to just get the humor, you know. Excuse me. That's not water or anything hydrating, by the way. Because I think as far as last episode goes, great episode, but I think this one little part needs to have an asterisk next to it. And I immediately after I looked back on the episode during editing, I realized that you really shouldn't just drop a bomb like that. It was God's way of sending me the message that, oh, we should probably leave footnotes, put in a picture-in-picture video explaining with a little bit of a pause, and where I can explain what I meant, or just completely edit something out. Now, I kind of regret not putting like a paper crumble noise during the quick cut into what I say next, and then I add like a comment about that comment, which probably sounds out of context at that point, but neither here nor there. I didn't watch it back recently, so I'm not even sure, and I didn't watch it back enough to really even figure all that out, but I believe that's the case. And if you want, I might as well, because I'm talking about new backgrounds here, show you not sure how I'm going to edit this, but show you my explanation video with a slick background. It's just a white background, but explaining my comment. A lot of BS off the top here, but it is me jumping in there trying to perhaps green screen. Maybe I have a lot of editing work to do tonight, but jump in there and sort of explain quite what you mean when you say an offhand comment like that in more detail. Nonetheless, maybe I should give you us all the cue to throw that video in. Let's play that now.
Hi guys, Braden here. Don't let this idiot tell you about self-harm. He wouldn't know anything.
Hey.
I've never done self-harm, nor has he.
So, told you what I meant when I said a lot of garbage up front here. So this podcast is going to be, like last podcast, it's going to be, it's going to be front heavy with garbage, right? So anyway, I think you get the message. It's not important, but I'm not going to just say irresponsible comment stuff. I'm not going to say irresponsible things like such without, just it was time for my first edit. Yeah, anyway. What else? I did something today, or this week, I should say. I did something for today, this podcast, but kind of unknowingly, you're sort of just living your life. I bought a bunch of new items. Told you I was working my ass off last episode. I bought a bunch of new items, and I almost want to explain the going back to the drink. I'm already plenty drunk at the moment, at least a good solid buzz. I'm not recommending alcohol as a vice or handicap, but more of a sort of a boost to get conversation going. I don't know. I feel good sober. I feel like I can accomplish, well, we did like, a dozen episodes sober for the most part. And so you be the judge of that. But here I am with a solid buzz, trying to explain and off the cuff get to all maybe the 5 topics I wanted to talk about today, 5 subjects. None of them really in depth or anything, except for the part where I wanted to mention repeating myself again, which is repeating myself. But we'll get to that in a second. All I mean is, told you about going to the electronics store last time, and wait a sec while I get into another dose of toxins. I can't believe I make you wait for that. In all reality, yeah, just one shopping trip to the electronics store is apparently not enough for me, because I went out and I didn't go out and do anything. But as far as all of us being on the same sort of ground during these weird times that we're living in, I did something. And by that I mean I clicked a few times on my trackpad and purchased a few items, which I feel really excited about. I'm not going to do no show and tell at all. In fact, never. I think the bare minimum, the basics are enough for me to try and, navigate, because, I'm not so sure about downloading any or doing any extra editing for these guys, and by that I mean these videos, because it's all just gimmicks in the end. You guys agree, right? This isn't a video for children, right? I swore, for Christ's sakes. Less than a minute in, probably here. So, and I also mark not for kids before I upload these videos. YouTube requires you make a decision there. So, if you want all the bells and whistles and the nicks and the knacks or whatever, go to some other podcast. I don't think this is quite gonna work for you. Just boy sitting in front of a camera, trying to be entertaining, or as entertaining as possible. Which I feel like I'm doing all right. I don't think, a few episodes in, and I can already tell you I have before we get to what I purchased, I can already tell you my favorite episode is only a couple back, where I'm talking about the previous episode, the whole episode. I don't know. You know that one, I seem to know how to wrap it up. And then, anyway, there may have been or may not have been one more banger since. But don't worry about it. If you start here, good for you. You never have to go back in time. For Christ's sakes, just keep up with the most current episodes, I mean. That's what I really mean. I don't necessarily expect anybody to watch this one. Not in the next week. That's not going to happen. But, yeah, anyway, what did I purchase? I purchased 3 round objects for inspiration to go outside, despite the current obstacles, and mingle with the public. And I just don't want to say b-ball one more time because I've mentioned it enough. But yeah, like a girl, I can only do so much window shopping before I burst. So I bought 3 basketballs, and one of them has already arrived, and I'm quite pleased with it. Freaking thing is a little small. So I don't know what the other people on the public are going to say about it when it comes to their opinions. It looks, well, it feels a little small anyway, and I measured it and it falls just short. If you like fractions of inches, we're talking about 1/16 of an inch too short in circumference. But it feels small, and that's the minimum. I mean, I just found out today that the regulation sized balls are a little bit bigger than what they, by that I just mean millimeters, but, or if we're talking the US measurement system, quarters of an inch or fractions of an inch bigger. Fractions of an inch bigger than the standard size they sell on the internet across the board. Enough of that. See, I told you why I didn't want to talk about it. But, holy crap, let's go to, I'm trying to choose my toxins because I took a couple of hits of tobacco as well. Let's go back to the drink, take a little break. Wish I already had advertisers. That ain't gonna happen. Wait till, I'm gonna set the bar at 200 episodes before I get myself a sponsor. That's how far back I believe I am, which might not be far back enough, but right now, hoping that my eyes are wide enough for the moment. I did a lighting adjustment this week. That's brand new for you. I'm pointing the third bulb on my wall socket ornament away from reflecting back in my eyes. So we'll see about that. But yeah, did something. And I'm supposed to like riff on like what I did, I don't know. As a start of a podcast. Yes. In fact, I do a lot of driving. If you find yourself in a strange place, I'm going to check out an old place that I've been to before. And you just want to know how liberal versus maybe conservative the old place you used to live is. So I went back to my old stomping grounds, which is the same location that I lived before where I live now. And yeah, the high school and the recreational park, or the park I should say. I'm not trying to use any big words on this episode, that's for sure. I feel like I killed that bit, by the way. Talking about making up big words, that bit, by explaining it, you kill it. So I'm not sure how excited I am about using rare words. Maybe we'll just do rare words and we won't do words with many syllables. That'll be a new challenge for me. Come up with, let's say, one term that is 1 or 2 syllables that people never use during this episode before we get out. But I went to a court, and they, not to mention, drove by a high school with many hoops or what do you call them? Basketball, I don't know. whatever they're called, and they take the rims off. They've been, during these times, I hate to say coronavirus, I hate to say COVID, all this stuff gets dated and annoying, and surely everybody's been a little dramatic about these moments, but you know me, not quite as dramatic. I feel like my reactions are coming a little slower with all the booze and the small percentage of tobacco in my lungs. But anyway, let me take this. Big sip, big sip. I could have guessed. If I was a betting man, I would have said, yeah, the hoops are going to be down in both the high school that we used to play and the park. They took the rims down. They're taking the rims down. So I don't know what state you're in or what country you're in, but over here in California, they want to just unbolt the rim of the basketball hoops. So you have the whole court and you have the poles and the backboards. They're flat. There's nothing you could shoot a ball through. No net, no rim. They, not only that, they put the bolts back so that they don't have to hold on to 4 bolts and 4 nuts and maybe 4 washers. They can just bring the rim and the net and come back and install those at some weird time. It's a really weird time to be existing right now. And I hope that this is the only time that this happens, because you have government regulation on outdoor basketball courts. I'm sure the indoor courts, they just lock the doors or whatever. There's no access there unless you are, I have no idea, some politician or something. But yeah, that's what they're doing out here. And to me, the only question I have, the only interesting thing about it is, when do they install them back? We already have the vaccines rolling out to old people. That's new news as of today. So we'll see whenever they want to put the rims back, do a little hardware tool work to install those back. I won't keep you updated. That's not the plan, but it is interesting, and to me it's fascinating that instead of putting caution tape around the courts, apparently that didn't stop anybody, including me, once got into a back and forth with a police officer. Was he a police officer or a ranger? I want to go with ranger to be safe and not sound like such a rebel for everybody. I think he was a police guy, though. Anyway, for the most part, not too much drama there, except that I felt like felt like one sentence away from getting badgered and harassed. Not good, not good. I give you that quirky smile, but I don't like to mess with law enforcement. We were mostly saying nice things, but meaning terrible or bad things. Trying to give you some context to there. I don't remember the exact sentences, but anyway, so yeah, let's move on. I don't mean to get into all that stuff. Just what are the laws? You have strange laws in all sorts of places. This is a worldwide thing, so I don't mean to, again, sound so localized. It's not my intention. Just maybe I'll just give you the update. Maybe I'll forget, but maybe I'll give you the update when, if it coincides with the regular people being able to get vaccines. Of regular, I mean freaking younger than 65 and older. Does that make you regular? The general public or whatever. I love old people. They have many things to teach me. In fact, at the risk of repeating myself, because I don't know quite what I said in previous episodes, they have something to say, right? You can learn something from all of them. As far as repeating yourself, though, the only thing I wanted to say is once in my life, gosh darn it, I need to, in front of you, I need to. And you know what? I should probably be accentuating my vices on a podcast where you're not actually talking to anybody /show, podcast /show. We're not actually talking to anybody. I should probably have all my vices laid out in front of me, such as I do as such, to help me see. There's a good example of me stumbling over my own words. Because, right now I'm talking to a robot. So, listen, this show, I'm just hoping, because it is a show and there's visual as well as audio, I'm just hoping that, because I did lower the camera about 3-4 inches, I'm hoping you're not seeing as much chin action. And one more comment, yes, I really do hope I'm not doing that. What looks like overly confident display of neck volume. Because I didn't do the shaving job this week, and this is what I meant by getting into more detail, or whatever I might have said earlier, philosophical or brainy or smart topics. I don't know. I mentioned something. It wasn't any of those, I don't think. But I think as a rule to live by, I think when somebody shows up to something underdressed, it should be a sign of passive aggression. So leave it at that. I don't know. That's what I believe. So if you have been or are showing up to things where you're a little underdressed, it's on you. That's on you. I like to match the moment or underdress myself, but I also like to overdress. And I don't want to talk about when, but I'll give you an example after I take a hit of this stick of toxicity. Or I'll give you the example before I do it. Like if you were to wind up in court, how's that for an example? Why not overdress? I'm fair-skinned. So is that a good reason? I feel like that's a great reason to overdress. And if I was a minority, I would certainly consider it, but I would probably feel more inclined to dress up to the standards of the occasion. However, I like to go, I would like to, these people, anyway, it's not that the judge across from me, not necessarily that they're fair-skinned as well, or white, or whatever, but that I'll probably run into a majority of the public, which is at the moment fair-skinned folk, and I like to show them that I'm going. So you understand all that. I don't need to finish, but getting back to my facial hair, I just didn't do enough this week to cover up what is supposed to be an insecurity. I don't like showing off my continued struggle with my hair plucking situation. That's quite what it looks like. I do a lot of research, and by that I mean watching YouTube online and this at the same time. But also it's very stressful putting yourself out there in public, and so I deal with it in my own ways. The last time I could remember doing this was at a movie theater. I fucking hate, well, at least I hate going to the movies with one dude friend. Wow. Let me just finish this hit, and then you'll see a lot less hand movement. There you go. There's a image of me cross-eyed. I hate it. Don't mind all the eccentricities or whatever. I haven't used this in many months, but I bought it to hippie it up. It's better for your lungs, this wax string stuff. But don't smoke. Don't buy accessories. Blah-de-dee, blah-de-dee, blah. Oh my God, we're running way over time here. Where was I? Taking a hit. Told you I was drunk. Okay, we should think about wrapping this up. Where was I? The last time I was plucking, the first and only time I remember plucking my chin hairs was at a movie theater watching some movie on a feminine masculine scale. I don't know where it stood, this movie. So I don't know how uncomfortable it was in those terms, which would be, yes, funny and also a great thing to remember. But I don't remember what movie it was. It was a long, long time ago, probably 10 years ago at this point. And I was sitting in a movie theater with a friend, and I had never done that before. And I didn't, it's sort of a like, what is in your future? Like, so I was also plucking a different part of my beard. It was more up here, is where I was getting it from. And it felt like nothing's, like there is a bothersome, I don't know, I'm not asking anybody to diagnose this for me, and we should wrap this episode up. I'm sure I haven't talked about all 5 of the points I wanted to get to, but that's fine. All I'm saying is it seems like a habit of a habit. The definition of the word habit. It seems like that's what it is, because I felt like I had nothing to do. Something was bothering me around that area, and it's a little bit below my old staph infection, so it's not necessarily that, I don't think. And it was not in the area where it is now. But I remember going, why the hell does this feel all right? And it just feels all right. It feels like there's something bothering me in that location, as well as this new one I'm dealing with. And the hairs, most importantly, the hairs, when you pluck them out, it almost feels like you're relieving something. Like the hair comes out without any pain. Some of them, no pain, practically no feeling whatsoever. And in those cases, sometimes it feels better when you remove those. But there's no inclination to, okay, I apologize if this is too much, but there's no inclination to pull out any hairs that hurt. Hairs, that's what they're called. So I'm just plucking like, for the most part, hairs that don't hurt or only hurt a tiny bit, because I feel like it'll get rid of it's like a self-mutilation thing. I'm sure I've probably said that before. Woo. But yeah, oh, I remember where I was at. Let's wrap this garbage up. But to get a little more deeper into it, let's do that, because I owe it to you. At least one in-depth subject per episode is, I'm claiming. Yeah, that's where I left you off. Gosh, that feels like 20 minutes ago. I once said to a close friend who was living with me, now he was living with me. Does it mean close friend? I don't know, but I don't know, because relationships are complicated. But he was living with me. I should probably tell you that it was probably his idea to live with me. I don't know. I think so. I think that was the case. Again, if I was a betting man. But we were driving, and I told him the same story twice about a math teacher. Don't need to get into it. But he said, yeah. And then he said, yeah, again, to shut me up, sort of a thing. And I remember vividly that I felt like I crossed over a certain, like, line with him at that very point in our relationship, because I had repeated a story within a week of telling him. And he doesn't know this. If you're watching, Rye Guy, I know 2 Ryans. If you're watching, I never told that story to anybody else. I don't think. Now that I'm saying it, I don't know if this is... Anyway, I don't know if it's true. But I don't believe I told anybody that story at that point. I'm pretty sure of that. So it's not a call to continue being friends directly or anything like that. But to the best of my knowledge, as I remembered before, and it's just at the moment I say this, that I am having some sort of, how do you say it? I'm having some second thoughts on whether I did actually tell anybody, but I don't think I did. And so you heard that story. Yeah, that's how bad I am at just regular conversation, or at least how bad I was back in the day. I need to tell you, I think it's important if you were to ever see this or whatever. Now, this is just to the guy, right? You all are watching. But if I were to talk to him, I would say that I didn't tell that story to anybody. I do love him dearly, and I think he's radical, and everything from the beginning of when he was born to now, I think he's very cool, a very chill, mostly very cool person. But anyway, I just told you the story twice. I didn't know I was so wound up from not getting the story out enough. I accidentally told you twice. But when you tell the same person the same story, there's not a better sign in the universe that you only think about yourself, to get down to it immediately, and you believe you're living in your own movie, and everybody else is like there to, give you attention and all that stuff. So I didn't want to come off like that at all. But I did repeat myself in that moment, and I don't know. Where was I? What was the point of that story? I don't know. But it happens, and yeah. I think I made my point. if I was on the other end and I was him, I believe I felt, and I'm sure he felt that same way when he semi-abruptly said in so many words, "I've already heard this, Raiden." It wasn't long after where he moved out, and don't really necessarily feel like I have to give you the details about that. Long story short, but in sort of the same, on the same lines, in the same theme, in the same vein of showing up to some place underdressed, you want to present the best image to your peers or your, there's a word that has co in it that I can't think of right now. Let's get out of this. Before we go, I'm gonna check. It was great having you. If you're watching, and then if you're still watching as well, I'm gonna check my notes, and we're gonna find out if haven't said anything that I wanted to say, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay? But first, the last sip of this, and I think we talked about everything. Okay, guys, this one went on a little long, but thanks for being here with me or watching. I don't plan on deleting any of these. I only have like one regret of something I might have said, and it's like I go back and forth with whether I should have said it at all or not. But that's fine. You live with some of these things. Let's get to the complicating editing process, and hopefully I get this out on time and get all my work hours in as well. Till next week, thanks for being here, checking it out. Love you if you love me. Otherwise, you're my frenemy, and probably more accurately, my enemy. So, friends or loved ones, frenemies, enemies. Till next week.